We're concluding our focus on giving, which is really kind of a start to our focusing on creating a budget for 2016. I have great news. We have really started well. We now have more than 400 pledges, totaling $1.7 million. We have to get to at least $4 million in order for us to have the kind of level of service that we have here, which will be around 1,183 pledges. So if you've yet to pledge, you're one of the answers to that issue. And you are invited to pledge today. If you're not ready to pledge today, you can certainly talk with Jim LaDuha at the sign-up center to ask him about it. But we're going to have our last testimony here at the lectern. Julianne Hines is going to come right now. And in preparation for that, I'd like for each of you to just take from the pew rack in front of you a pledge card. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that just because you're taking it out means you're going to make a pledge. Don't be fearful. But take that and open it up, and I'm going to talk about it as soon as she gives her witness about her giving. But go ahead and take it, get it in your hands, and then put it on your lap, and warmly welcome Julianne Hines. Welcome, Julianne.
48 hours after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, the FBI arrived at my grandparents' door, and they took my grandfather away. My grandmother, with 3 children and pregnant with my mom, had to get them all to an internment camp in Arizona. So no surprise that I grew up to become a social worker, and that I would want to do my little part in pushing the arc of the universe toward justice. I attended church until I graduated high school. At 17, I didn't stop believing in God, but the church disappointed me, and for more than a decade, I just couldn't be there. When I moved to Pasadena 18 years ago, God pulled me back. I attended several churches over a number of years and landed in a contemporary evangelical church. So instead of a sanctuary, I want you to think about an auditorium. And instead of a pipe organ, a rock band. And instead of a priest in a robe, a pastor in jeans. I didn't always agree with everything said there, but my friends were there, and I got comfortable. Well, you know what happens when you get comfortable, right? 3 years ago, I was thrown right out of that comfortable life. My job in the state legislature was finished, and my church moved to Hollywood. I accepted a new job at Planned Parenthood, which can be challenging if you're looking for a new church. I knew I had to find one where I'd be safe, and I needed it to be soon. So bracing for the culture shock of wooden pews and choirs and all these people in robes, I decided to visit All Saints. I thought to myself, I'll just come here until I can regroup and figure out what's next. What I didn't expect was that communion every Sunday would heal a part of me that I didn't know needed healing. That the message of social justice being preached from the pulpit would resonate so deeply. And I didn't expect that I would show up one weekend and suddenly feel like I'm home. When I took the job at Planned Parenthood, I knew I was going to lose friends, and I did. I also had friends who supported me because they loved me. But to find a church that doesn't just support me, but that understands the sacredness of what happens at Planned Parenthood, that's beyond anything that I ever expected. Last year, Jeremy asked me to be a faith partner for a young woman going through the Seekers class. Honestly, I got just as much out of it as she did, maybe even more. I saw this church help young people discover for themselves who God is and what the church is meant to be. And I met Kira, whom I will adore forever. So if Jeremy asks you to be a faith partner, I'll tell you what he told me. Just say yes. When I became a member of All Saints Church, I knew it was the right thing to do. I feel that same conviction about supporting All Saints with an annual pledge. Committing to a pledge helps me feel accountable, that whether I'm physically here or not, I'm part of making the ministries of this church possible. I'm part of people hearing, maybe for the first time, that Jesus loves them, whoever and wherever they are on their journey. This feeling is a gift, and I want you to have that gift too. So I invite you to join me in supporting All Saints with an annual pledge. After all, our support of this amazing community is one way that we all keep pushing the moral arc of the universe towards justice. Thank you.
So this pledge card is your delivery system to that level of joy and fulfillment. Just open it up, and during the offertory, after you've put your money in the plate, in the basket, or just before, why don't you think prayerfully about this tree and all of the different ministries represented by all the leaves on the tree, and which ones touch you and which ones you're glad touch other people. And if you haven't pledged, it's important for you to pledge so that you can make sure that these kinds of branches are touching not only your life, but the life of other people, some who come here and some who watch through streaming and some who get the vibes from us. But you are responsible for making this place happen financially. So please make your pledge today. Now, for those, it doesn't matter how grand it is or how modest it is. What matters is that you're a part of making this place happen. It doesn't matter if you live in Pasadena or Bel Air or Beverly Hills or St. Louis or Des Moines. You can be a part of the pledging of this place.